Nice.
Got some big fish.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God! This big mama came out. This is the biggest fish I've ever killed bow fishing.
Sun's out, buff's out, baby. Good job, what a night. Right there in the rock. Wait, there's a big one. Nice shot, Kaler. Get him, Smitty.
Doubled up, baby.
Hey! Nice shot, man. There we go, we got two of them now. He's a good gator.
He's a monster.
That's a good gator. Oh, he came a long ways. Wait, that was awesome. Wow. How cool is that? Wow. Love bow fishing. Come here. Time for a free boat ride in the AMS boat. Hey.
Yeah. Where are we? We are back in our new podcast studio, Schmitty.
Yes, we are. Hopefully everyone watching on the video format can enjoy. This has been, I mean, we probably started on this 2 months ago.
Yeah. Yep.
It was a while. We started putting this paneling up. We put the insulation in. We got the whole room here has got power to it and everything. We've got some
new lights.
Awesome lights that actually you guys won't be able to see.
Track bar lights that we can slide back and forth in here. So
it's pretty sweet. I've been looking forward to getting up here and filming.
So we hope that everybody that watches the video podcast kind of enjoys our little booth up here for our podcast.
Yep, absolutely.
We've got a couple old retro gold retrievers.
Yep. And that's funny, Matt. Cindy was talking about it when we had Cindy on the podcast. She's saying how they used to be gold and they had those white boxes. Yeah. And I'd never seen that gold plated before.
Pretty cool.
It actually looks sharp.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That right there is from the original designer, Jack Lassie.
Yep. Who's actually working in the shop right now.
He's downstairs right now.
Yep. And if you guys, he's too modest to point it out, but the fish that is above all of our little decorative area here is the 87.8 pound buff that Matt shot down in Kentucky. Now, how many years ago was that?
That was 2016.
Okay. Oh my gosh, 6 years ago.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild. But that's a replica we got made of that. We had it hanging up out in the front by the shop out in the front of the store here at AMS, and we thought, you know what? We're putting that in the podcast.
We're bringing Bubba up here.
Bubba, okay.
Bubba the Buff.
Bubba the Buff. He looks pretty good. It's a cool replica. Very cool.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yep.
It is our 50th episode, man.
It is, Schmitty.
Half a century old.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We were so excited we didn't even do an intro.
No, we kind of just did I just start talking?
Yeah, we just kind of started talking about our new area here.
All right.
So, yeah, man, welcome back. We are back here, the Bowfishing Buzz, presented by AMS Bowfishing and
MegaMouth Bowfishing as well.
That's right. My name is Matthew, and of course, here's my good buddy D. Schmitty. We got a great show podcast this week, Derek.
Yep. Very cool.
Who do we have on?
We have the designer, the builder, the developer of the MegaMouth Reel is going to be on with us today. His name is Tim Morines.
Timmy boy.
He's wicked smart. He knows what he's doing. And you guys see, if you're watching the video portion, we've got a MegaMouth here, and from bare bones, nothing up to what it is now, that is completely because of Timmy Morines.
Yep. A big shout out here to Timmy. A lot of you heard me talk about Timmy years ago. Mm-hmm. I always call him Timmy boy. Yep. Because he started working here when he was still in high school. Yep. And I always call him Timmy boy. He traveled with me on trips and stuff like that there. I can't call him Timmy boy anymore.
No, he can't.
Schmitty.
Nope. Why is that, Matt?
We got to call him Timmy Daddy.
Timmy Daddy, yes, sir.
He is a new daddy.
He is. Within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, right before deer season, right before rifle season here. It's a couple weeks before November 17th or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yep.
Maybe earlier, a couple days earlier than that, but yeah.
So congrats to Tim.
Congrats to Tim.
And his beautiful wife. That's awesome. Healthy baby.
Yes.
Very good.
Little baby girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So very cool.
He actually shot a deer opening day of rifle season.
Yes.
And he had a picture of her out there. He's got her all cuddled up there, and he's got his buckle out there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, all the comments were really cool on that.
Yeah.
Oh, starting them young. Did you shoot that one, Tim, or did you fill your daughter's tag? Well, that's she's like cool. 2 weeks old, so yeah, very cool.
We're all jacked up. Me and Schmitty are jacked up because of the new room here. We've got a great podcast. We've got some cool specials, Schmitty.
Oh, gosh, yes.
We've got some holiday specials running. I know we had some great Black Friday specials running and Cyber Mondays.
Yep.
Now we got The holiday special, Schmitty.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Yep. Well, we've got our Black Friday sales have been running since last week.
Yep.
And today's Wednesday. Monday, this past Monday was Cyber Monday. We still have our Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales running until midnight tonight.
All right, so go to the websites and check out that stuff.
Absolutely. As far as Cyber Monday sales on the AMS side, we have 20% on arrows, T-shirts. We've got a great deal on a really cool-looking bow case out there. And this time of year is always cool to, one, you're going to find some savings, and two, it's great for gifts or giving someone that you know who bow fishes some really cool stuff to take out with them next year.
Yeah.
We have leather patch, fleece line beanies, so much more. We've got all
Those
that.
are
warm.
the bomb.
They are. Those cold nights bow fishing, and we wear them.
Yes.
I wear them mine ice fishing.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Early season bow fishing at night times when night temps cool down, throw them on, keep your ears nice and toasty.
Absolutely. You can hear those fish coming, keeping your ears nice and toasty.
Yep.
Then we also have some the MegaMouth specials we have. Again, that is going to end at midnight tonight. These are still the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales that I'm talking about now. That is going to be on the MegaMouth bow case, which for everyone who shoots a MegaMouth, no matter what bow you have, the cool thing about this bow case, one, it has all kinds of outside pockets to store an arrow tube, any kind of accessories, tools that you need. But also, no matter the bow you're shooting, you can leave your reel mounted to your bow, and it fits in that bow case.
It's got a high pocket for that.
Yep, because I remember a couple years ago, Matt, we got a couple bow cases, and they were good, but the torque rod on the MegaMouth stuck out.
Yeah.
So we specially got these to be a little bit wider. They're nice. They're very nice to just throw the bow into. You don't have to worry about them getting dinged up or anything. The reel can stay right on there. So make sure to check those out. And we also have some great specials on MegaMouth hoodies and T-shirts going on. Just to piggyback off of our Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, MegaMouth here for the next couple of weeks, we've got some holiday sales going here. If you purchase a MegaMouth, all right, you will be entered in to win a MegaMouth prize pack.
Wow.
Yeah, a MegaMouth Christmas holiday prize pack.
Oh, boy.
So hard telling what kind of goodies we're going to throw in that prize pack. If you buy a reel, you will be entered right in. You got to buy a reel for yourself or for someone for a gift or something. Boom, you're going to have an entry to win a really cool prize pack. And I believe AMS also has a prize pack going. Is that correct? I think it's $200. It is. I know it is. A $200 website order. You also get an entry for an AMS pack as well.
Wow.
So very cool. Very cool. Let me keep going on these sales, man.
You got more, Schmitty?
I do have more sales.
Oh, gosh.
So as I mentioned before, the Cyber Monday Black Friday deals end tonight at midnight. All right. So make sure to go on the website, check it out, see if there's anything you guys want to get before those deals expire. We will also be having sales on, let's see here. I got to write all this down. What do I got here? We will have sales on all kinds of accessories, arrows, apparel, all kinds of stuff. More specific product-wise, the water mock, the meat hook gaff, bow cases. We're going to have all kinds of sales running from now until, Christmas time, holiday season. I'm not sure when the exact date is that those are going to stop.
So get that stuff ordered so you have it in time for that bow fishing life for Christmas presents.
Yes, absolutely. So MegaMouth will also be running some holiday specials throughout the season here. 25% off apparel and accessories. That should go live tomorrow. And we're going to stagger some of these deals. So I'm having to actually hold back even more sales that I can't even talk about yet because they won't be live until maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks. Just make sure to watch our Facebook pages.
I was going to say, make sure that you're always checking stuff out.
Absolutely. Last thing, as far as the sales and promotion goes, I just made a post this morning on the MegaMouth page. We're giving one away. We're going to give a MegaMouth away.
That deserves a
ho-ho on our brand new interface here. Also very fancy and nice. We're going to be giving away a MegaMouth to one of our Facebook followers. The requirements are on the page there. All you got to do is like our page, which a lot of you guys have already. Tag 3 friends in the comments and make sure to like the original posts. So check all that stuff out. Boy, oh boy, I'm going to have to take a swig of Gatorade here. That
was
a lot of
throat down a
information.
little bit. Yeah, you're giving away a lot, or talking about all the specials and holiday and Black Friday and Cyber Mondays. Good grief, that's a tongue twister in itself.
Yep. So keep that all straight, guys. We got all kinds of sales. Make sure to check those out. I think that wraps it up. We can move on with the podcast.
We're going to move on to the BAA records.
Oh, wow.
And interesting name here. We've got Dustin Meisel again back at work on his BAA World and Alabama State record, spot fish weighing 14 ounces.
Congrats to Dustin. That's crazy. And I would like to know how many records Dustin has. Seems like we read his name once, if not twice, every podcast.
Might have to have him on one of our podcasts if
He
you'd
is-
like to join us.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Dustin always shooting the record fish.
Mhm.
Congrats to Zach Stanley on his BAA South Carolina state record flounder weighing 3 pounds. Congrats to Zach Stanley.
And right back
Oh
to
my gosh.
Dustin Meisel again on his BAA World and Alabama state record pig fish
Pigfish.
weighing 14 ounces.
Pigfish. Pigfish. Exactly what you think it is. A pigfish.
Here's the crazy thing about Dustin is I think some of his fish are weighing identically the same. His spot fish is 14
Oh
ounces.
my
His pig fish is
gosh.
14 ounces. And some of the other ones in the past that we
had that last podcast.
Peamouth
too.
chubs and,
Yep. And it's like sea robin.
sea
I think
robin.
those were both. Maybe that wasn't exactly the one, but they were the identical weight as well.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. The next record here, I don't think we've ever had this person on the records before. His name is Dustin Meisel. Congrats again to Dustin on his BAA World and Florida State record Electric Ray, weighing 2 pounds, 9.6 ounces. Just crazy.
It is. Then we've got Trey Kelly on his BAA Mississippi State record freshwater drum, weighing 7 pounds, 11.2 ounces.
Awesome. Congrats to Richard Hayden on his BAA Virginia State record flathead catfish weighing 48 pounds, 11.2 ounces. Awesome job, Richard. That's cool.
That's a big one. So, Derek, Dusty shot that pigfish.
He did.
What is a pigfish?
Well, what we pride ourselves here at the Bowfishing Buzz is not only to provide entertaining content for everybody who listens and watches, but we also want to inform you on things.
Yeah.
I've got a little write-up about the pigfish here because
It's kind of interesting.
when we see these records, I think you can also attest to this. We are just as interested to find out what in the world all these records are, just to familiarize ourselves in the world of bowfishing.
Yep.
Pigfish are members of the grunt family of fish and live predominantly in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of the southern United States. They are plentiful in number and possess a colorful appearance. There are several types of fish that fall under the name pigfish. These include the golden spot hogfish, pigfish, the red pigfish, and the redmouth grunt.
Wow.
All pigfish belong to a group of ray-finned fish that thrive in shallow, mild waters. Though they are not edible to humans, pigfish are primarily utilized as bait. When pigfish are caught, they emit a grunting or snorting noise, which is likely the source of their name. Oh my gosh. Pigfish possess teeth in their throats, and by grinding these together, a grunting sound is produced.
Very cool.
That is neat.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yeah. Strange.
Yeah.
Pigfish.
So I think the other one he had there, Matt, was an electric ray. You want to give us a little info on the electric ray?
I wish I had the music to Electric Avenue.
That would be perfect.
Down to Electric Avenue. And then we take it higher. Yep. We should have that playing in the background when we talk about the electric ray.
That would be pretty good.
Okay, the electric ray are found worldwide in warm and temperate waters. There are numerous species of electric ray. Most inhabit shallow water. Slow-moving bottom dwellers, electric rays feed on fishes and invertebrates. Most electric rays bury themselves under the sand during the day and come out at night to feed. If prey is encountered, the ray will stun the creature with electricity.
That's wild.
Wow. Then the ray will guide the food with its pectoral fins to its mouth, which is located under its body.
What?
All living creatures produce electricity, even humans. But electric rays have two special kidney-shaped organs that generate and store electricity like a battery. Large Atlantic torpedo rays can generate enough power to produce a shock of about 220 volts, while smaller rays like the lesser electric ray can only muster a shock of about 37 volts.
I'd be curious if you, can you feel a shock if you grab onto one, or
220 will...
220? You're gonna get some buzzing going on.
You're not
there.
going to... A buzz, it's going to probably put you to sleep.
Oh boy, good lord.
Yeah. Yep.
That's wild.
Crazy.
That's wild.
Crazy.
That's wild.
So that's our BAA records and a little fish background facts.
Yeah,
On
absolutely.
some of those strange fishes that Dustin keeps shooting down there.
Crazy.
Alabama and Florida. So what do you say, Schmitty?
Should we give Timmy a call?
Let's give Timmy Boy a call. I just call him Timmy Boy. I guess we can't call him Timmy Boy anymore. Timmy
Timmy boy.
Timmy Daddy.
Yeah, Timmy Daddy.
So here we go. Look at that.
Coming in beautiful. There we go.
Coming in very nice.
Tim's a busy man. Hopefully he's got some time for us.
Hello?
Oh,
Look at
there he
that.
is.
Hey,
Hey. Welcome to the
How's it going?
Bowfishing Buzz, Timmy.
thanks, man.
Well, we know that you are really busy, and we thank you for taking the time out of the day today to join us here on the Bowfishing Buzz. And not only are you busy at work, Tim, but you're also busier at home now. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but congrats on being a new daddy. That's very
Absolutely.
cool, Tim.
Congrats to that, Tim.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You bet.
Not
So,
gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. I'm talking to some celebrities.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
Of course. Of course he leads with that. Good Lord.
I have to.
we were supposed to ask you from somebody that works here.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Tim, before we get into this, I have a message from someone who works here at AMS. His name is Kevin. He's our graphic designer, does a fantastic job designing all kinds of stuff that we do. He is wondering how your fantasy football team is doing.
Oh, boy.
I don't know why he's asking. Do you know anything about that? Is the team doing all right?
Well, I mean, I had an A- draft. The season started out really good, and it's not doing so good anymore.
Oh, I think Kevin got the victory over you this past week, huh?
Yeah, and I see you're doing pretty good.
First place. I don't know. I'm not really keeping track.
My wife is in the league, too, and she happens to be playing. She played you last week, so
Yes,
I
she
got
did.
grief at home because she lost to you.
Oh,
Yep.
Fun.
It's fun.
Of course. We always have fun.
Absolutely.
got it.
Doesn't matter if we're bow fishing or designing or
That's right.
playing fantasy football
Or ice fishing.
Or ice fishing.
or ice fishing. Good
Yep,
one. That's
yep.
coming up.
That's right. So, Tim, I'm just going to start out with a little background here.
Sure.
When did you start working for AMS? I know you were coming in part-time. You were still in high school.
Yeah, you called me a punk.
That
Did I call you a punk?
Oh, he called me a punk, so
You
that
did.
totally lines up. I believe it.
Yeah,
That's
so I
funny.
came there. I was 18. I had just been going to college, and I did not know what I was going to go to school for. So I got a job working with you guys.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you had a recall. This was a long time ago, obviously, but
RDR recall.
RDR recall,
Mhm,
correct. And so I came in to help change the RDRs out, and Jeff Brown had taken a liking to my work ethic and just, showing up on time and getting through the work
Yeah.
quickly. So he actually offered me a job part-time to continue working there as I go to college, which was great. I mean, it was fun. Matt gave me a little hard time. At the time I was playing basketball in college. I wrecked my foot.
Yep.
Had
That's
a
right.
surgery, so I was on crutches. I was in a wheelchair for a little bit there. And at the time, I was younger. I wore my hat to the side, my baggy pants, and, I was cool, right? And Matt's like, yeah, who's this punk kid coming in here? And come to know it, after a few years of working there, Matt and I developed a great relationship, and we're lucky enough to, travel all over the country shooting fish and having good times, and created a lifelong friendship.
Right. Mhm.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
So actually, I think in 2010, Tim, we started going on bowfishing trips, and then we were shooting in some of the Wisconsin Bowfishing Association tournaments.
Correct. Yeah, me, you, and your cousin.
Yes, Derek. Yep.
Yep.
And then in 2011, you started to go on these trips, and we did a lot of filming.
Yeah.
South Dakota salmon. We competed in the Campbell's Bowfishing Challenge, which was awesome.
awesome.
A lot of fun. 2012, Tennessee, Delaware, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Indiana archery camps for kids, the Jared Ashmore Youth Tournament. And then you and I went to Florida, Tim.
I was going to say gators.
Yes.
Shark. I mean, we were on the
shark,
East Coast
that's
for
right.
sharks and the West Coast for sharks.
That's right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
and you shot a big old, we call them snaggletooth, that big old gator you
Yeah.
shot in Florida. I was
He
actually...
was like 12 and a half feet or something like
Yeah,
that.
that thing was a beast. And
Oh
I
my
remember when
gosh.
it surfaced and you shot, I was over your shoulder filming, and you turned around. I think you still had your head on crooked.
Uh-oh.
Probably.
And the look on your face was, you were like so, it was like the shock look on your face was like, did you see how big that thing was? It
It was
was
like
just,
a dinosaur.
I know,
My
exactly.
goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
the thing was huge.
Wow.
That thing was huge. But yeah,
I mean, when
it was
we're in
pretty cool.
we're in a 12-foot airboat and you shoot a gator that's 12.5 feet, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The thing's longer than the boat we're in.
Right.
Good Lord.
Yep. We had a lot of good times together. And when did you start going to school right away for engineering, Tim, or was that right away?
The first 2 years of schooling, in 2000, it would have been 2008 that I started, and by 2010 I had finished my associate's degree in general courses because I didn't know what I was going to do.
Okay.
And at that point, Jeff Brown had offered me a full-time job there, just to, buy time as I learn what I want to do with my life. And so, I did all the production work, and then we started doing the filming.
Editing.
And it kind of just kept evolving. Yeah, we started editing. We did that first trip to, what was it, Maryland for sharks?
Yes.
And me and you edited our first video. It was like 14 minutes long, and we were so pumped about it.
Yeah.
And we look back at it now, and we're like, oh my gosh, we were terrible.
Yeah.
We've evolved a lot, thank goodness.
Yep.
But yeah, so, I started going on these trips, filming with Matt and Jeff and Chad Williamson at the time. And I would see these, not only was I filming, but I would see these things happen in the field, where it's like, there's a little issue there. We should fix that. So I was going to NTC for a little filming, photography, and I also took some 3D design courses, and I had gotten a certificate in three-dimensional design and video photography, something like that. I had done it just to try to improve my knowledge in the filming, but also some design work. My dad's an engineer, and growing up, he always had the software at home. He actually had a drafting board at home when I was growing up. He used to make prints by hand at home. So I even got to see that. Wow. Yeah. He had this huge, 10-foot drafting table.
Wow.
And I remember I actually have a picture when I was 6, sitting at this drafting table. And so by nature, I was kind of around the design way of life or living or work or whatever. And so I was interested in it a little bit. I did some time at NTC, west of Stratford there. And I don't know. I guess I got pretty good at it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I started seeing some of the things happening in the field that I wanted to improve, and I would come back after these trips and go to Jeff or Cindy and say, hey, this thing happened, and I think we could fix it by doing this. I would call them napkin sketches. I would draw it on some random piece of paper I can find, sketch up this concept and say, hey, what do you think about this? And the first thing that happened was actually it's silly, but the tie-off button on the back of the retriever, it used to be 2 pieces. Yeah. It was a metal washer and a piece of injection molded plastic.
Yep.
And I remember putting them together. You put the 2 pieces together, you tie the knot, and then you put it in the bottle and line the bottle. And I thought, well, why don't we just mold it in 1 piece? This is silly. And that's where it started. I mean, that was the first little thing I did.
That was the first thing you did. Okay. Yeah. And
then it just continued to evolve from there, all the way up to some pretty amazing designs.
Yeah.
I think I have 14 patents now, which is crazy.
That is awesome.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Tim, did you ever think when you thought of redesigning that tie-off button that it would be put on since then, tens of thousands of reels?
No, not at all.
That
awesome. Never really crosses my mind. It's always just, we can make this better.
Right.
And it's going to take this to do it.
Yep.
And then, I really enjoyed the designing part of it, and, learning all the different manufacturing methods, whether it's injection molding, screw machine work, CNC mill work, stamping dies. I just always thought it was pretty interesting how people build things.
And just so everybody knows now, Tim no longer works here at AMS.
Right. He does a lot for us still.
He works actually at the sister plant, All Metal Stamping. Yep. And that's where your dad works there also. Correct. He's an engineer there as well.
Yep.
And so you took your skills over there after you left here. But like I said, we still stay in contact. But right before you left here, Tim, you built some or you designed a lot of our points, the Anchor series,
Yep,
the
the QT
QTs
and
and the
FX.
FX. The Retriever TNT with the larger
Yep.
gear ratio and the brass gear.
Yep.
That was a
the tidal wave arrow rest.
Yes, right. The tidal
The
wave
light
arrow rest.
bracket.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you
There's a bunch of different
did
things.
a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff. At first we had just that one milling machine, that one Swift lathe back there at the time in the old shop.
I'll tell you what, when they brought that thing in and said, we're going to start making our own points, I said, well, who's going to run that? Well, you are. Man, I was so nervous.
Were you really?
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, you're going to have me run that thing? Do you see all the buttons on that machine? I don't know how that works. How am I going to figure that out? And I'll never forget, because we buy the machine and it was turnkey, so it had 2 or 3 points already programmed, ready to run. And so that was, obviously convenient. You put it on the floor and you start making points.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you want to tweak it, or then you want to improve it, or then you want to make the cycle time faster.
Right.
And I remember Gil Flocker was the guy's name that helped install the machine. And man, he was a great contact to get a hold of. And hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do this? And you know what? After I don't remember what year that was, but I've probably been around Swiss screw machines now for almost 15 years.
Wow.
Maybe not quite that long, but I'll tell you what, I'm not afraid of them at all. I could do just about anything on those machines now.
And that's cool. And you've made some amazing things on there. And now, like, once in a while, you'll come to the shop and you'll be back there working on the machines and stuff. And now you just walk up to him and you're just like,
yeah, his hands turn to a blur. You don't even know what he's doing. Hey, Tim, I think we should make this a little bit faster. Yep. And then boom, it's ready to rock and roll. It's crazy. You're a master at them now. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and Matt was leading up to the point of, so I had designed a bunch of really cool stuff. And right before I had left, I finished the biggest project of my entire career so far, and that's the MegaMouth Bowfishing reel.
Right.
So that was my baby for quite a few years.
No doubt about that.
Lots of time on the water testing, all the way up to model, I think 24 or 26 or something like that was my final one that we went into production and started building molds and dies. But to get to that point, the amount of machining I did on those Swiss screw machines is really where I think I got so good to where I can echo to what Derek said. I can walk up to a machine now and say, oh, right there it's slow, right there it's slow, right there. So, okay, stop this thing. Let me push some buttons. And boom, your cycle time is 5 seconds faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Which really adds up when you're pumping out, a run of 1,000 parts or 5,000 parts. That really adds up.
Yeah.
Tim, I'm just going to take you back here. You were talking about you're on these trips with Matt, and you would see little certain aspects of how something was performing, and you'd think to yourself, man, you know what? We could make that a little bit better. And then you'd come back to the shop and you'd draw it on a piece of paper. You kind of always had that vision almost.
Mm-hmm.
At what point were you working here that you thought to yourself, man, I want to build a reel like the MegaMouth? Like what was going through your head? What made you think that you wanted to do that?
So that was a pretty cool experience for me, because I was a part of designing all these, I'm going to call them parts, little things, pieces and whatnot. And Matt and I did all this traveling. And when we would go to these tournaments at that time, it was kind of a divide in the bowfishing world where it's either AMS bottle retrievers or it's the Muzzy spinner reels, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we're competing against these guys. And being an engineer, I'm nosy. I'm like, hey, why do you guys shoot those things? Like, what draws you to that? The retrievers are safer. They shoot good. You could get your fish in. Like, what's the draw? And, I guess I learned, obviously, that they retrieve the fish faster. They have a drag system, yada, yada, yada. And there was some preliminary discussions in the shop between Jeff and Cindy and myself, and they even actually had a meeting here at All Metal Stamping, where I'm working now, to get the engineers here kind of pondering the idea of, let's build a spinner reel that has safety features like the retriever.
Mm-hmm.
And it took about a year to start kind of getting the ball rolling. And during that year, I hadn't really been a big part of the design. It was kind of happening all at All Metal Stamping. But they, at All Metal Stamping here, we have a whole lot of other products aside from the bow fishing work that we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't progressing as fast as I wanted to see it as a designer. So at some point I kind of just took the initiative of like, well, okay, these are all the features that the spinner reels have that I want to have. And these are all the safety features that the retriever has that I want to incorporate in this new reel. And I just kind of went for it. And after I had the first design kind of drawn and done, I presented that again to, Jeff or Cindy, and they said, "Oh, yeah, that looks okay. Keep going on that." And I built something, and then we say, "Okay, there's a flaw here, but blah blah blah," and then 5 years later, and tons of evolution, and MegaMouth is born.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that's one thing, Tim, for sure, that people see the reel now, what it looks like. They have no idea the R&D that went into it. I know when you were here at the shop, you ended up going back and you found some printed line deflectors from, I want to say, like 2013. I mean,
that could be about right.
It was, all of the boxes of different runs that we had. I know that yourself, you wanted this to be, when it finally hit the market, you wanted it to be bulletproof. You didn't want to have, oh yeah, this still isn't working perfect, we still have to work on that, and have it out on the market. You wanted it to be bulletproof from the get-go. Right. And I think that was that's such a people don't realize how much of that goes into a given product. You see something come out on the market, oh look, they made that. Well, guess what? It's been in the making for 7 years, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and when things come to the market, there's always something you overlooked. When you start getting it out to masses, and especially in bow fishing, it's an abusive sport. Yeah. We're really hard on our equipment.
No doubt.
I traveled with Matt long enough and did enough bow fishing myself to know we're hard on stuff.
Yep.
And that's okay. But the equipment has to be built to withstand how we treat our equipment. And that was probably the hardest part, is building something that was durable enough that I felt comfortable selling this, that it's going to last and you're not going to have a ton of problems.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to say that we didn't have a couple hiccups right away and a few things that we had to work through. But, after 5 years, we did our darndest to make sure that when this thing came out, it was ready to go.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I know looking back in those days, Tim, Derek and I were down in Kentucky on a trip down there on the Ohio River. And the big heads were up really good. It was really good shooting those big heads on the river on those nights. And I remember I called back here and I was talking to Jeff and Cindy saying, man, we're doing really good down here. The big heads are up good. We're getting a lot of good stuff on film. And and the next night you were flying down already.
I was going to say, I think I know where this one's going. I remember that.
Yep.
Because that was awesome. I got to hook back up with Dennis too.
Right, exactly. And the reason that you came down so quick was because you brought a bunch of gear and MegaMouth stuff down to test while we were shooting those fish, because there's nothing better than using your gear in the field, testing it on stuff that you're targeting, on a species that bow fishermen are going to target. And there's nothing better than shooting on some big heads that have a lot of power, because what you do on those testing things is sometimes you want stuff to fail. Sometimes you want stuff to break.
Right.
Oh, that's the goal.
So if you can't
break it, you think it's ready to go.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, you need a lot of failure to build something really impressive.
Yep. And I'll never forget, because the night that you were flying in, Derek and I were way up on the Ohio River.
Fishing was good.
The big heads were up good. And your flight came into Paducah that night, and I said to Derek, I'm not going to get him.
Yeah.
I'm staying out here to shoot fish.
Yep.
I said, you're going to have to go back and get him.
Yep.
So I drove back down river to the boat landing. I said, here's the keys. And Derek took off, and I went right back up river and started shooting. And about, like a couple hours later, then I get a text that you guys are back.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
I remember when we went to do that. I was with you before we went out. I was with you before we had to leave to go get him. And I'm not sure what some of those speed limits were on those side roads in Kentucky. But let's just say that boat trailer was doing some bouncing up and down. An empty boat trailer flying down a side road to go pick up Tim, because I knew what I was leaving. Right. It was so good. I'm like, oh, we got to get back out there, man. Tim's got all this new product we can test. The fish are up. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So we had a lot of fun, doing this and testing on stuff. But I remember also when you were working on the gears and the transmissions, some of the gears that you were designing were just out of this world, Tim.
Hypoid.
Some of them have never been seen by other engineers ever, with the angles and the cuts and the precise of some of these. It was just crazy. And it's so cool, Tim, because here you are right here in our shop designing this, building it, instead of us just drawing it and giving the papers to somebody and handing it to somebody else overseas or whatever.
Overseas somewhere, right.
You're doing it right here, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
How cool is that, Tim?
I would have an idea, sketch it up, start writing a program, and walk over to a machine, start typing it in, and here's a metal piece. Let's put it in there and try it.
Right.
And I think that capability that I'm fortunate enough to have, I really think that's what, 5 years is a long time to develop a piece of a fishing reel or a piece of equipment that you're going to sell. That is a long time, but had I not had the capability to walk out to a machine and machine this part that's going to make this thing better and continue to evolve, can you imagine how long that may have taken?
Yeah.
Without those abilities?
Absolutely.
Well, and I think that speaks to, too, what Matt was saying about how we could do it right here in the shop. I think if we didn't have that, I think companies that don't have that, they reach that point where they're waiting for it to get done by someone else.
No doubt.
They get sick of waiting around. They think we put all this time and money into this product. It's good enough. Let's send it out right now.
Yeah,
and then there's a bunch of
problems.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
and if you don't have a product on the market, I mean, you're not making money.
Right.
That's obviously the ultimate goal. That's why you make stuff. But yeah, if you're waiting all this time and finally you're like, okay, well, this is good enough. Let's start selling it. And we're fortunate enough we didn't have to do that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And with All Metal Stamping as our sister company, they have stamping dies, they have injection molds, they have CNC mills.
Right.
So if there was wire EDM, if there was ever anything that was out of the realm of what we could do at AMS Bowfishing through 3D printing, machining on a Bridgeport or in a Swiss screw machine, we could rely on these guys and say, hey, can you make me some samples of this? And, within a day or 2 days, we have what we need to carry on.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Very good point.
Yeah.
We drive 20 minutes to go pick it up,
Yeah. Between All Metal Stamping and AMS Bowfishing, we really are, in my opinion, a manufacturing powerhouse. We have all these capabilities, and there's no bureaucratic pain in the butt stuff to go through as far as higher up executives in a company or something like that to get something done.
Yeah.
I call my dad and say, hey, I need this part made. Can you do it? And, usually it's, yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll try to have it to you, tomorrow. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. That's huge.
No doubt.
Tim, just with, myself now, I'm doing a lot of the assembling the MegaMouth stuff here. And just for someone who isn't familiar with the reel, say they've been shooting a competition reel to the MegaMouth, all right? A competitor spin cast style reel. We have the metal gearing, dual stainless steel and brass compared to, a lot of the competition has plastic gearing. We made
cast gearing.
Yeah, we made the drag system. We re-engineered that. What would you say, in your own words, is the biggest difference between the MegaMouth reel through all your time of developing it, the R&D? What is the biggest difference between the MegaMouth reel and, say, some of the competitors out there on the market?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to go with durability, and I know that's a very broad answer, but to be more specific, not only is the gearing, I believe, more durable, but your ability to pull fish or sticks or stumps or whatever back to the boat.
Yeah.
And the reason that is the way I designed the anti-reverse on the MegaMouth, it's actually on the main transmission of the reel. So you're not applying all that pressure to the gears, which is great because your gears last longer. But at the same token, you can put 200-pound test line on this reel. You can tighten up your drag to where that line doesn't come out. You can pull that T-bar and pull on that stump or whatever you shot in the ground, and you can make that boat turn back around or snap that 200-pound line.
Right.
And you know what? You pull the line back out, you tie on a new arrow, and you carry on.
Yeah.
The reel's fine.
Yep.
I don't believe there's any other reel on the market right now that can do that without cutting your fingers. that was one of the biggest things that drove me nuts when developing was when the reel didn't do a good enough job. My natural instinct was to grab that line wrapped around my hand and pull the arrow out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're using that small line, I've cut myself down to the bone on the pinky a couple times.
Yeah.
It's just natural instinct. I remember shooting a tournament with you, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I had cut it the night before, and twice that night I went and did it again.
Yep. And it always goes back into that same little groove.
Yes, it does. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So because of that, I wanted to make the reel do the work. And that's one of the things I guess I'm most proud of, is that the reel is durable enough that you can snap that line, you can pull on that arrow, you can turn the bolt, whatever. The reel's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
It shocks me every year, Tim, and I hear it every year. We'll have guys that will, and this is going to sound like it's a bad thing, but it's not. It speaks to the reel. And like you said, if you shoot an arrow into a stump, you miss a fish or whatever, your 200-pound line will literally break before anything in the reel breaks. Okay, that's
correct.
That's a testament to the reel itself. Like all that torque is fine. I hear people say all the time, I shot a big fish, I had my drag tight, and I pulled the T-bar, and I almost went in or went in because the fish, you got the bow in your hand, and the fish literally pulls you off the boat.
Yep.
Your gears don't strip. Nothing happens to the reel. The reel does exactly what it's supposed to. You're just the shooter's so not used to having that power in their hands that they literally go overboard because that fish is taking them that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm sorry
wild.
to everybody that's happened to. But that was the goal.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted the reel to last, and I really didn't want anything inside it to blow up when you go to do what you want the reel to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And I think something to speak to that too, Tim. We came out with the reel, and ever since we came out with the reel, I think that's evident with our lever lock system right now with our torque rod. You are always thinking of ways to improve it. You took a fantastic design, and we're not just gonna sit back and go, "Oh yeah, we developed this thing. It's awesome." No, we're still hungry for improvement and advancement, just to keep getting it better and better and better and better.
Don't stop.
And we will do that until we'll do it forever.
Yeah.
Right. The reel will look different in 5 years than it does now, and it's rock solid fish hauling machine right now. I think that's really cool too. I think other companies tend to come out with something and then there it sits, the exact same thing for 5 years.
Yep.
You're always looking to kind of improve everything.
Yeah, I mean, my new position here at All Metal Stamping is a engineering manager. So I get to deal with, stamping dies and injection molds and all kinds of different stuff. And more specifically, I spend most of my time just managing, the guys that build the dies or design them, or, the people that run the presses. But aside from working full-time here, I still have a laptop at home that I work for AMS Bowfishing or MegaMouth, and I develop and design stuff, to do what you're talking about right now, continue developing.
Yep.
Being that I don't get to do it at work every day, I spend more time managing than I do designing. Honestly, it's kind of relaxing for me to go home, sit down on my computer, and dream.
Sure.
I'm a dreamer. I like to come up with crazy ideas and figure out how to make them.
Yeah. Right.
So it's almost therapeutic.
Sure.
Yeah. I know there's been mornings I'll wake up at 6 o'clock, whatever, and here I got a snap from Tim the night before at 11:15, and it's a picture of a screen in the dark with some kind of CAD drawing on it, and I'm like, damn, that man doesn't stop.
I'll never forget the first, I think it might have been like one of the very first videos that you two posted together on the MegaMouth reel.
I know what this is.
Was probably right around this time of year. There was a little more snow on the ground.
Oh, I remember that.
And you two wingnuts decided to.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was some good stuff. You two wingnuts, what you do? Go on a sled.
Tim was on his four-wheeler.
Yep.
I had a great idea. I wanted to test the drag.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So I remember you pitching that to me. You're like, hey, okay, so how about this? You come over this weekend. I'll get on my four-wheeler with a MegaMouth reel on a bow riser, all right? We will tie the line that's on the reel to a sled, and I'll pull you around on my four-wheeler.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Well, here we go. 2 days later, there I am holding onto a sled with Tim on his four-wheeler. I'm like,
you got that riser in your hand, and he's pulling you over the snow and through the driveways and over
I went up and down the road, came back. I tried to jump a snowbank with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And it worked.
I'll tell you what the hardest part was. Driving with one hand, holding onto the retriever with the other, and dragging Derek. My goodness, man.
And then you got it on film too, I think.
Yep. We had GoPros
Well, yeah,
mounted.
we mounted GoPros and stuff everywhere, but just the physical work of dragging Derek behind me, man, that was exhausting. Much less the poor reel having to hold on.
Yeah, you had 6'1", 230 getting pulled behind you on the sled.
I know,
Do we
right?
still have that footage somewhere?
Oh, I know we do.
Oh,
Yep.
of course.
Yep.
That's
I got
gonna be.
video.
We're going to play that on this podcast,
Yeah.
on the video podcast section.
As much as it was like, let's try it. When we're done, we're like, oh my god, that like worked perfectly.
Yeah,
like
that was
this is
pretty cool.
actually
And
a
you know
really
what?
good selling point video. This is actually showing the strength of the reel. It's goofy and it's fun, but
Right.
it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, Derek, when we did this, we started with the 200-pound line that came with the reel.
Yes. Yep.
And it kept snapping. It wasn't
Yep.
strong enough.
Yep.
But we planned ahead, and we brought like the AMS,
It was
like
640.
640-pound gator line or something.
Yep.
It was ridiculously
Yep.
heavy. It was like rope.
Mm-hmm.
But we intentionally put that in the middle just so the line wouldn't break, so we could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of cool that
That was.
the standard line couldn't do it. So we said, okay, let's put this big old line on here and let's make this work. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 That
It
was
did.
cool.
That was really fun to do that.
So what I want to know is, so Tim, when this finally, when your MegaMouth reel finally hit the market and was up for sale for anybody, how old were you?
I don't know.
I'm
I don't remember.
This is going to shock people. When
That's
he
what
says
that's what I'm trying to get to.
it's
Is that's
gonna
going to
shock
shock
people.
people to know what age you were when
Yeah.
you were designing this. That's what I want to kind of get to.
Well, he's an old designer. He's been doing. He's probably 45, 55 years old
right.
when it came
no,
out.
that's not the
No,
case
you're
on
about
this.
30 years off there,
Well,
pal.
so I'm 32 right now.
Right.
I've been here for 4 years. So that would have been 28 when I had left there. And I was working on it for 5 years. So I was 23 when I started working on it, roughly.
That's what I want to get out
That's
there. You're
wild.
23 years old,
Yeah.
working on this
Yeah,
stuff.
that's about what I was when I started. Yeah, something like that.
How
And you
cool.
were what, 27 by the time you put out a pretty kick-ass reel onto the market.
Yeah, 27, 28,
28,
somewhere in
yeah.
there.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I had, at that point I had multiple patents. Matt and I had traveled all over the country. We had H2O Junkies. We had
Oh my
I had
gosh, yeah.
edited 2 DVDs Between the Banks and
Was it
Bowfish 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess
Pretty fun life.
I'm very blessed.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm very blessed. I mean, Cindy and Jeff
Mhm.
saw something in me and gave me an opportunity to work there. And honestly, if they didn't do that, who knows where I'd be.
Right.
But look at all the cool things I got to do because
Exactly. Because
you know,
of bow
because they
fishing.
saw something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of bow fishing. Look what you got to experience.
Yeah.
Starting at a
Yeah,
young, very
I mean,
young
it's
age,
amazing.
just like my wingnut over here, Derek.
Yep.
Working here during high school too.
Yep. Same deal. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm forever grateful for that. I mean,
Right.
here I am today. I can design molds and dies and MegaMouth reels. I mean, thankfully, I could do pretty much anything I've set my mind to.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. And I know I'm just going to, one other story here. When because Tim, I was working here probably a year or two. And then I remember you had that office. We moved to the new shop here. You had that office in the back by the machines.
Yeah.
And I had my little area back there was behind your office. And I remember I would sit and build 3D printed housing MegaMouth reels. I think I'd put together 30 of them a day. Just take them apart, put them together, putting in a little tweak that you made on the gear here. I mean, we did that for a long time. And that really helped me understand the reel.
Absolutely.
I mean, you do that for a year or however long we were
Yeah.
doing that, and pretty soon you can be blindfolded and put one together no problem and realize what's going wrong. But I think in that,
Yeah. And now here you are. You're the MegaMouth guy.
well, yeah, I'm just taking care of the awesome design that you brought to the table, Tim. That's
Yeah, whatever.
but I remember in that same year, and I won't say his name just in case I don't want him to get in trouble. We went down to a southern state and shot some fish with some 3D printed reels. You guys know what
Okay.
I'm talking about here? And
I'm pretty sure I know where you're going.
we were shooting some really big buffs. All right.
Yep, I know where. Yep.
And this is before the reel was anywhere close to being finalized. Like I said, it was 3D printed housings. I think the cones were mold injected. Maybe even not. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, the cones might have been at that point.
And the gentleman that we went out with had been shooting our competition for years. And I remember, and being around the reel all the time, I didn't think anything of it. Yeah, it's an awesome reel. That's why we're building it, whatever. And just going down with him, and from him shooting however many years of a different reel, And then having our, not even close to being finished reel down there and seeing the look on his face when we were doing what we could do with that reel. That's when I'm like, okay, this is going to,
we're onto something.
This
here.
is going to shock
Yeah.
people. This guy knows everything about this other reel. And here he is looking at us like, how can you guys do that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And these are big fish. Those buffs were huge. They
were. And I remember he was very apprehensive at first of the idea. He's like, I don't know about that. I'm going to stick with what I got. But then I think it was at some point in the night, Matt, Derek, or myself, I don't remember who, but you had shot a 40-pound buff, maybe 50. I don't know. They were all big. But I remember grabbing that T-bar and saying, watch this.
Yep.
And you put your other hand away from the reel, and with one hand you pull that T-bar and you lifted that fish out of the water, held it up in the air, swung over and placed it in the boat. No gap, no second hand, no nothing. You just let the reel do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the point when he was like, whoa, that's pretty impressive.
Right. I've from his standpoint, he's thinking, I've never dreamed of being able to do that with a bowfishing reel. And here these guys are doing it with a prototype.
Yeah.
I just remember that and being like, yep, we're onto something good here. Tim done good.
That's a trip where you went in your underwear in the water and it was kissing the buffs.
That was that trip.
We don't have to.
I can dig up some photos if you want to add that to the video portion of this.
I'll need them.
I'll never forget. Remember what I said as I was coming out of the water? MegaMouth. Big buff slayer. Fear us.
Yeah, big buff
fear us. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was funny.
Off the boat landing. It was cold.
There was fog everywhere and
Yep. I remember, just to go off with stories, we were taking pictures down there.
Oh gosh. I would pretend that it was not recording and you were holding like a 50-pound buff. I'm like, hold it.
That was bad too.
And the look on your face was like, hurry up.
Yeah, I know. That was tough to do. But I don't know. I think Tim and I were out in the boat. And you were on shore taking pictures, and you knelt down to take pictures, and you kneeled in the biggest pile of dog poop I have ever seen in my life. We're like, that's got to be like a timber wolf. What's going on? It was huge. Yeah. Oh man,
I don't know. I remember the one we were in. It was us three. We were taking pictures for MegaMouth. I think we were fishing for grassies or something like that, and we were in some back bays on Kentucky Lake. Matt's taking pictures of me, drawn back, shooting and whatnot. I think it was actually the first cover photo.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
And Derek is sitting over there, like 50 yards away in 2 feet of water, playing with this buffalo that we shot earlier, doing Snapchat or video with his. I don't know what he was doing. He's over there in his underwear playing with a fish. Oh my goodness!
Oh God!
Then he came running back to us. Tim and goes, "You guys, check this out. Look at this picture." Oh. You were like taking a picture.
There was a little fish that jumped up.
Yes, a little minnow jump.
A little skipjack.
Yeah. Photo bomb.
I remember I posted that picture on my Instagram, and everyone's like, dude, how'd you Photoshop that fish in there? I'm like, I swear to God, it's real. Yeah. It's there. Yep. But I remember splashing around over there. You guys are all taking pictures, and there I am just taking selfies of myself with a fish.
Yep. We always had a good time.
Oh, always.
Always worked our butts off till the wee hours in the morning and tested like crazy, and you designed like crazy, and we drove like crazy, and
and look at the result. I mean, a wonderful friendship.
Yep.
Tons of good times. Look at the stories we could tell, and we could go on forever.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And on top of that, we have some great products that we're selling because we're out there doing it.
Made in America.
Yes. Yeah. That's another big thing. Absolutely. Made by bow fishermen for bow fishermen. That's the whole. That's the whole. Everything we do here. That is the staple. That's what we stand by. Big time.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna let you get back to work, Tim. We know we're holding you up here.
I think I had three different people knock on my door. While
boy! Well, podcasting session.
I probably got a pile of things to go do. So
all right. Yeah. Well, dude. Once again, thank you for joining us, and thanks for all your hard work here. And
thank you for everything, Tim.
Yeah, we really appreciate everything, Timmy.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha.
Nice talking to some celebrities for a little bit.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we gotta get rid of them now.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to ice fishing pretty soon.
Absolutely. We're gonna plan our Minnesota trip soon.
Sounds good. All right, we'll see you guys later.
Take care, Tim.
See you, Tim. See ya.
Bye.
Cool little insight there.
Yeah, just a little fun, throwing some fun stories and some more, general about the reel and get into a little more specifics on the reel. And Tim built it.
That's always been something that I feel like we have not, the MegaMouth business side of things, that we and it's hard to do, but I always felt like there was a lack of background on what all went into it.
Right.
You know, because I think a lot of times you see something pop out of the market, kind of like what we talked about. And you're like, oh, look, new reel.
Yeah.
Or a new trail camera, a new cup for your coffee, whatever. There's a lot that goes into a new product, and having him on did a great job of explaining in depth what all went into that guy right there.
And that's why I wanted to touch on that about his age when he was doing that, because you don't think of a 23-year-old very often that is making and designing and building that type of stuff and drawing it and stuff. It's really cool.
And it's crazy to me that he did not necessarily even go to school for what he is an absolute master at.
Yeah.
I mean, he can, like we said, he can come in on those machines and it's wicked. That's what he was meant to do.
That's
his calling.
Right.
That's
exactly. That's what he was meant to do.
Yeah. And he found that and turned it into one hell of a career.
No doubt.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yepper. So.
Oh.
You know what that means, Schmitty?
I do.
It's time to wrap up episode 50.
Good
the Bowfishing Buzz podcast, presented by AMS Bowfishing and
MegaMouth Bowfishing as well.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the little insight here on Tim, the designer, the man behind it, the MegaMouth reel right there. Great guy.
Absolutely.
Super guy. Remember, Christmas is coming up.
Check our website.
Keep checking out Facebook social medias for some great deals on some bowfishing products. Get them for the people in your life, the ones that like to go bow fishing, because we all love to go bow fishing.
Absolutely.
Great stocking stuffers, great presents. Get them under them trees. Christmas is coming up. Order them now. What do you say, Schmitty?
I think it's a wrap.
Time to wrap her up?
I think so.
So from all of us from AMS Bowfishing, remember, aim low.
Think big. Thanks for listening, guys.